everybody, and happy Tuesday. This is United Abroad. This is really the first debut, kind of actual stream solo I'm doing for the March Madness college basketball. Do want to go ahead and shout out everybody who is here. Big up Brush and Vibes. I saw that you guys were in the comments. So today, really, we're just going to talk about a little bit about kind of the college basketball scene and what we call here as March Madness. So um, March Madness really is just the national college basketball tournament. Uh, across all universities here in the United States, and it is a very big deal. It is, I think, there is 358, I think, basketball teams across the country. So there is quite a few teams now. Of course, not all 350 teams get into the tournament. Really, it's only going to be 64 teams, and then now the fun part about this, it is a bracket challenge. So what we're going to go ahead and do here at United Abroad is we're going to do our own challenge itself. So I posted a link in the description there, and it's going to be you'll be able to go and create your own bracket, fill it out, and the one thing about these brackets is that because there are so many games and there's so many different upsets, right? Because with college basketball, it's such a fun sport because you never really know who's going to win, and with that being in mind, the chances are very slim of getting an actual full bracket. With that, the gosh, I can't remember. It's the number is pretty ridiculous. I think it's like 1 in like 2 to the power of 63 or something like that to actually get a correct bracket. It's never happened before in the college scene. Like nobody has ever actually gotten a perfect bracket that's been recorded. So that's one thing that definitely to keep in mind. So when we talk about this, I jokingly always say that prior college basketball knowledge isn't really necessarily in order to fill out your bracket. So, but you know, uh, one thing to keep in mind too is that I guess with our challenge, there will be a price. So definitely stay tuned for that. What I'm going to do, is I will be streaming every single round of the tournament, and then kind of going through the brackets there with some predictions. Now, because I want to encourage every single one of you guys to go ahead and fill out your own bracket. I'm not going to go too detailed as to the reasons why. I may just and some of these, with 350 teams, I can't watch them all, and so some of these decisions quite literally could be just on vibes, and so. We'll go ahead. I'll start pulling it up here in a second. And then now the tournament, should begin shortly. We'll go through the round of 64. And then we'll pick the very first predictions and kind of go from there. Now, let me 1 second while I go ahead and start sharing. And in the meantime, let me go ahead and highlight a couple of comments. Yeah, see, Vibes is in there and everything. Now, and then I did see that Brush had the popcorn emoji. So big up the popcorn gang. Now, of course, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the video. And we'll go ahead and get started. Give me 1 quick second. All right, so here we are. We are in the ESPN bracket challenge. Let me go ahead. I'll start zooming in just a little bit. That way we can go ahead and get started. All right. So, so there, like I said, there is a round of 64, and the good thing about the round of 64 is that there's a lot of teams that we'll go through, um, and you will see that the bracket is actually divided into four separate parts. I should probably zoom out in order for you to see that. So there is going to be a couple different regions of how it's divided. So you have the West, South, East, and the Midwest, right? So the one thing I guess I should explain a little bit about the college basketball scene is that you have your own conferences, right? When schools play each other, you have your own conference or your league. Now these schools, they're actually going to be seeded regionally. So it's not necessarily going to be based on the conference that you play against. So, it is going to be based on your entire season record. However, it is going to be based on your region. And so, most of these schools here in the West are going to be located, in the western part of the country, as far as that goes. Now, the one thing to keep in mind too is that you could have different regions, right? So, for example, Baylor is seated at number one and Kansas is seated at number one. Even though they're in the same conference and they play each other, they're going to be seated in different parts of the country. Now, I'm not 100% sure how they do that as far as like how they choose what schools are regionalized to the east, since Baylor is in Texas, and as we know, Texas is sort of the middle of the country there. But I digress. Now, so we'll go ahead and get started. Since we have quite a few picks to kind of go through, and then go for there. I did see vibes up in the comments there. So how's it going, vibes? If you guys do have any questions or you want to make any predictions, then definitely feel free to jump in the chat there. So we'll go ahead and I'll start off with the very first game here that we have, and that is Gonzaga versus Georgia State. So it is the number one seed versus the 16 seed. I'm going to go with the Gonzaga. I know that there is some upsets that go on in the March Madness tournament, but Gonzaga, they went to the final last year, and so being that they went all the way to there, I definitely would trust them a little bit more to do a little bit better. Now Boise State versus Memphis. This one I feel like it's a toss up. Um, and I, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure who would win. I'm gonna go with Boise State though. Reason why is because Boise State does have a blue football field, so it's quite literally based on vibes. Now, all right, so then we're going to go down to University of Connecticut, so UConn or New Mexico State. I like the Huskies a little bit better. I feel like they're always traditionally a good school, so I'm going to go with the seeded favorite there. Now, Arkansas versus Vermont. Now, what are we saying here? Are we going with Arkansas or are we going with Arkansas? Because I don't think that Vermont is going to do it. All right, so we got Alabama and Rutgers versus North Dakota. So, it says Rutgers or Notre Dame. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with not Bama. I'm gonna go with the underdog here. I feel like it'll be an upset, and then just because we just always like to hate on Bama just for jokes there. Um, Now, Texas Tech versus Montana State. I think Tech is a good school. When it comes to basketball, I probably definitely going to go have to give them the edge. Going to do the same thing with Michigan State. They're traditionally always a good school when it comes to sports. Now, when we're looking at Duke and CSU Fullerton, I am sorry, CSU Fullerton. Duke has always been a basketball powerhouse, and I definitely, rate them to go ahead and go through. Now, um, if I'm rushing through these picks, guys, feel free to let me know. I'm just trying to get through. Like I said, we have 32 games to pick, and I didn't really want to spend too much time, on each one of these. Now we got, I honestly, on this one here, um, WRST. I don't know who that might be, so I'm just, simply for the sake of, going through some little bit of technical difficulties here. Let's see if we can zoom back out. All right, cool. All right, here we go. A little bit better now. So I don't even recognize the acronyms here, so I'm going to go with Arizona. Plus, they're seated at number one. So here we got Hall versus TCU. I guess I will have to just go ahead and pick, the former Texas Christian University there. But TCU, even though they may be Baylor's rivals, I guess we'll go ahead and pick them. Houston versus UAB. I'm going to go with the University of Houston here on this pick. They made it to the Final Four last year, and I feel like they're probably in a strong position to still go ahead and make it through again. Now, and you have on this one, I'm going to have to go and pick Illinois. Illinois is just a very strong school when it comes to basketball. So, definitely just going to go ahead and do that. Plus, I do want to see this Houston and Illinois matchup. And we have the Colorado State University, or CSU, versus Michigan. This one, I think it's when it comes to the seating, I feel like sometimes the seating doesn't necessarily quite show the tail, or sometimes the seating can, that doesn't mean that the teams are that far apart in skill. I'm going to actually ahead and pick Michigan. I think that that's going to be one of those upsets for the games. And then, I think that they will end up playing Tennessee. And I think that, yeah, Tennessee has always been a good school with that. And I'm not haven't picked too many upsets, guys. There could be some bracket busters in this games. Usually. There is always upsets. Like I said, it is March Madness, and just because of that, just at that, then I'm gonna go ahead and pick, and right here, instead of the Ohio State. I am sorry, Rich. I know that is the school that you had chosen as your football team. Maybe we'll convince you to pick a different school for your basketball college team. And Villanova, I think that. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother with that one. I think Villanova, is a very strong, always traditional basketball powerhouse there. And then, so definitely, we'll go through that. I think that is the first round for the West and South, uh, you know, parts of the bracket there. I think I think some of these games I definitely chose because I think that they would be the most exciting games to go into that second round. I think like Gonzaga, Boise State, Arizona, TCU, like those are all very good games that I'd be very excited to watch. Michigan State versus Duke. So yeah, as far as the other two parts, the bracket here, we'll go ahead and with this one, for me, it's a no-brainer. Sick 'em Bears. That is my former university. That is where I went to and graduated from, and so we're definitely going to go with Baylor. They are the reigning national champions too. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case anybody had any doubts. We with them, we did lose a few people to the NBA. However, we did have a pretty strong starting lineup. So yeah, shout out to Baylor there. And I think they'll actually end up playing University of North Carolina and Marquette. This is a very strong game coming off from the start. Um, University of North Carolina is traditionally a powerhouse when it comes to basketball, and Marquette is also a very good school. I'm gonna go with, oh gosh, I don't know. What are you guys saying? We're doing 8 or 9. Maybe we'll come back to this one. Maybe we'll come back to this one. On the other side here, I'm going to go with University of Kansas, KU, Rock Chalk there. Again, another traditional basketball powerhouse, always very famous or infamous for, being part of those bracket busters. But I feel like they're just going to be able to get to the first round at the very least. Um, South Dakota State University or Creighton. That is a good matchup. I'm going to go with Creighton. I think Creighton probably might be a little bit, maybe not this season be rated as highly, but I think I'd rather see Creighton versus KU. The following game, I did get a little bit ahead of myself there. I do see Rich. I'm not. I'm assuming maybe a Richmond. I don't think that's going to be, the Rich that we all know. But it is going to be Iowa. I think Iowa, the Hawks. I think probably going to be a little bit too strong there. So what are we saying? We got Providence or South Dakota State. I'm going to go with Providence. Just for the heck of it. Now over here we got LSU versus ISU. So here it's actually, as we could tell, for those of you guys that might not be familiar, it is going to be Louisiana State University versus, gosh, I forget. It's not Indiana. Is it Iowa? Yeah, it's Iowa State. Yeah, Iowa State. Iowa State University. Now, I for this one, I think we'll pick LSU. I think this one's a toss-up. Just flip a coin and play that. You got Wisconsin versus Colgate. What are we saying? Do we like you know brushing teeth, or do we like Wisconsin? I think I'm gonna go with Wisconsin. I do like brushing my teeth though. There's nothing against that. All right, now University of South Carolina versus the U Miami. I think with this one, what are we saying, guys? I think USC or Miami. Let's go USC. Why not? I think we'll probably win that there. And then with this one, normally when the seeding is that far apart, I know sometimes there's upsets, but I prefer to see Auburn play USC. Right now, with that, it concludes that part of the bracket, the Midwest part. So we'll go back. We'll work our way back up and see who plays Baylor. Yes, Vibes is saying USC for the vibes. So let's go ahead and definitely we'll pick USC there. And we got University of Kentucky. Yeah, they're always another one of those schools that is always doing really well. With that. So for that one, definitely, I'm just not even gonna. I'm sorry here. SPU, but definitely just gonna go with Kentucky there. But all right, with this one, sometimes, I have to admit. 350 teams, 350 universities. I don't sometimes know them all. What are we guys saying? Are we going with Murr or I think San Francisco? SF, maybe? Let's go. I feel like Murr. Murder. Yeah, let's do that. Murr. Murr. Yeah, they're going to murder this other school right here. So then, all right, now we got Yale and Purdue. So I think the Boilermakers are probably going to be my choice here. Plus, you don't normally see big Ivy League schools, in doing really that well, right when it comes to the sports, or when outside of things like rowing and such. But yeah, I think I'll take Purdue. We got Virginia Tech versus Texas. You know, so I'm a little bit biased, not particularly keen on the University of Texas. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of an upset. Virginia Tech goes and takes this one. Um, then we got, what do we got? UCLA versus Akron. Yeah, UCLA. They did really well last season when it came to the tournament. Always typically a good school when it comes to basketball. I'm picking UCLA. All right. And then we got SMC versus Wyoming or IU. What are we saying, guys? They're like some of these unnamed opponents are always kind of good vibes. Let's go with a little bit of a bracket buster. Why not? And then for the last game, UNC versus Marquette. I think the Tar Heels. I think that's probably what I'm going to go for. So I think it'll be number 1 Baylor versus number 8 UNC. So this is kind of we've made about half of the picks, right, for the tournament. This is the first round. I think that's one of those that we've gone from Gonzaga, Arizona, University of Houston, UConn, Texas Tech, Michigan, Tennessee, Duke, Villanova. We got Baylor, UNC, UCLA, University of Kansas, got Iowa, USC, Kentucky, Purdue. All these very strong schools. The good thing about March Madness is literally any of these schools could win it. And hey, for all we know, maybe one of those other schools that I did not pick to go on through the round of 32 could actually win it. Yeah, thank you guys for being so patient. I know I kind of rushed through some of these results, but being that the fact that we had 32 games to go through, uh, definitely one of them things. Now, yeah, what are you saying, Vibes? Is it USC for the Vibes to take the whole thing, or is it just to win that game? See, um, so we'll go ahead and once we get through that first round of 64, we'll do a follow up stream. I'll definitely take a note of these predictions that I made here, and then we'll go ahead and see what the I guess what the predictions are for next round. And I think it might be a little bit of a fun. Let's see what the if we do that auto simulation, see, like, let's say what what are you guys saying here? Should I click it? Should I do oh, okay, so Vibe's saying over Miami. I'm not sure if I don't know if how you feeling about this USC versus Auburn game there, but what are we saying? Should we do the finish my bracket for me? I think let's see what the sim guy does, and should we just random? It's like flipping a coin for every game. We'll randomly select the winner for you in each game, or you could do the smart bracket. So if that's one of those things, definitely jump into that link, make a bracket, fill it out. Like I said, winner is going to get a prize, and so whether we do random or smart, then we can go ahead and you know, do something with that. I think if you click random, you might get something totally crazy, but hey, it's like 1 in like a trillion chances. I think it's probably a little bit. 1 in 1 trillion might be generous. Let me let's see here. Bracket. So let me get you the actual number there. So there you go. And here are the going to be the odds of getting a perfect bracket is going to be right over here. So here's the odds of the perfect bracket is that big of a number. I mean, it is crazy. I think it goes like it's absurd. It's like one. Yeah, I guess it's 1 in 28 billion. Is what some of these websites are saying. 1 in 120 billion. It seems like we're getting some different odds there, but it's pretty slim chances there. So we'll do random just for giggles and see what when we finish the bracket, what do we get. So Creighton, according to the computer, just doing that flipping a coin settings there. Definitely, I would have definitely gone and picked maybe a different little team there, but yeah, it is. Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. The when I googled it, that's what it said. It says like 2 to the power of 63, which I mean that's crazy, right? Um, yeah, I don't even know how you would say that number because that is a lot of numbers there. So, um, is that because one, two, so, I know a million is 6 zeros, so I think a billion is 9 zeros. A trillion, what 12 zeros? This is getting into I don't even know like how do you quadrillion quintillion I don't even know how you say that. I I can definitely say I can't count that high. But yeah, guys, this is, you know, I'd like to see if unfortunately, I can't go back. So just don't pay attention. If you're tuning in now, don't pay attention to this round of 32. We'll go ahead and pick the winners of that once we get through it. So, but yeah, you definitely want to go ahead and say, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you vibes and you supporting in there. And, we'll once we get a little bit closer or less teams, we'll get a little bit more detailed. We'll start talking maybe about players or, certain aspects of what to expect. And we'll maybe there might be a few less picks based on vibes there, just because tournament form is always totally different than your actual season form. So all right, guys, well, it's been a pleasure. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and like I said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the video. Otherwise, I am out. Peace.